Okay, this lesson is over 7.4a, constant rates of change. Okay, that's the one you're going to hear a lot. I'm going to ask you, is it proportional? What's the constant rate? That means, excuse me, what does it go up by every single time? Okay, so we're going to start with this one. It says a table of values is shown below. So x is 0, y is 0. 3, 6, 6, negative 12. So see how they're going. It says, what is the rate of change and is it proportional? So what you have to do is you have to figure out what does it increase by every single time, okay? And so every single time it has to be the same number every time. So one way to look at this is to see, okay, how does 3 become 6? Okay, 3 becomes 6 by doing times 2, but it's going to be a negative number, all right? Is 0 times negative 2 0? Yes. Okay, so then by that standard, I should be able to do 6 times negative 2. Do I get 12? Negative 12, I mean? Yes. Is 9 times negative 2 negative 18? Yes. Is 12 times negative 2 negative 24? Yes. Is this proportional? Absolutely. What is the rate of change? The rate of change is negative. Okay, here's another one. It says, Lori kept a record of the time she worked and the amount of pay she received. So for 6 hours, she received $57. 12 hours is 114, blah, 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 blah. It says write an equation. So this time it wants you to write an equation that reflects the relationship between the pay received and the hours worked, okay? So one thing we need to do is figure out what is happening every single time, okay? So one thing we need to do is, let's just do some division, okay? Let's see. What is, and I'm going to scroll up here, what is 57 divided by 6? Well, I know 6 can go into 57 9 times, because that's 54. Leaves me with 3. And I know that 6 can go into 30, forgot to put my decimal, can go into 30 5 times. So essentially, to go from 6 to 7 is multiplying by 9.5. Well, let's check. Let's jump down to 20. And if I do 20 times 9.5 and I get 190, then I'm good. Then that's the right thing. If I'm not, then I did something wrong. Okay, so let's see, 9.5 times 20. So I'm going to get all zeros. I'm going to get 10, 18, 19. And I got 1 behind the decimal, so it turns out I did. So the constant rate is that it's constantly going up $9.50 every time. Okay, so it's asking you to use H and P, all right? And same formula, okay? So you would say that we are doing $9.50 times the hours to equal the person's pay. Okay, when you write an equation, don't just say, okay, that's it, I'm done. Go back and make sure it makes sense. So let's take 12. Let's plug 12 in here. Let's do 950 times 12. And if I don't get the right answer, if I don't get 114, then my equation is wrong. I need to do something else. So 9.50 times 12, all right? So that's 0, that's 10, that's 18, that's 19. Okay, so then 0 again, a 5 and a 9. I get 14 here, 2 behind. So it worked out. I have the right equation with this one, okay? Okay, here's another one. This is a word problem asking you to find the equation. It says, tickets are on sale for a music concert. Each, there's that clue word, each ticket sells for $82.50. So write an equation, determine T, and T stands for my total, and N stands for the number of tickets, okay? So total is always by itself. Total is always by itself on one side of the equal sign, okay? So my total is going to be, the only number they gave me is $82.50. And so I have to, this is the cost per ticket. What's the letter for the ticket? N. So I am going to do $82.50 times the number of people to figure out how much I have to pay. Okay? So like if 4 people went, you would do 82.50 times 4 people, 20, 8, 9, 10, 32, 33, to find that you're going to have to pay $330 for those people, okay, to get in. So there is your total, there is your number of tickets, and there's the cost of each ticket, okay? Okay, number 4, the local food pantry has initiated a food drive. 6 students brought 90 jars of peanut butter to the food pantry. Assume each student brought the same number of jars. Based on this rate, complete the projection table and graph the data. Okay, so if 6 kids brought 90 jars, we need to figure out how, what happened there. I need to figure out how much one kid brought for. Okay, and to figure out how much one kid brought, all you do is you take, and I'm going to work it up here, you take the number of jars and you divide it by the number of students to find out how much each kid brought. Well, 6 goes into 9 one time with 3 left over, and it goes into 30 5 times perfectly. So one student brought 15 jars. That means every kid brought 15 jars. So 6 times 15 is how I get 90. So guess what you're going to do with all of these numbers? The same thing. You're going to multiply every number by 15. 10 times 15 is there will be 150 jars. 13 times 15, well, that's 15, that's 5, 6, that's 3, that's 1. So 13 kids brought a total of 195 jars. 16 times 15. Let's see how much they get if 16 kids brought 15 jars. There's 30. That's 8. 6 and 1. It's 240 jars of peanut butter. Okay, if 20 kids brought 15 jars, that's 10. So then you get 0 again and 2. That's 300 jars of peanut butter. Okay, all I did was multiply every number by the constant rate of 15 every single time. Okay, so to plot it, students are here, peanut butter's here. So I found that one kid brought 15 jars, so one kid, 15 jars is probably here. If we had 0 students, would any jars come? Absolutely not. So we can put that there. It says 6 jars is 6 students, is 90 jars. 10 students is 150 jars. 13 students, so that's in between 12 and 14. So 13 students brought 195. That's somewhere in this vicinity. 16 brought 240, and 20 brought 300. Whoops, I kind of got off there. After you've done this, this should form a straight line because it is a linear equation. It is a linear graph, okay? This is where before we move in with slope, okay? So this is how you find your constant rate with a word problem. You put it into a graph, table, and a graph. Take a second and try to solve number 7. Try to solve number 7. See if A, B, C, or D is the correct answer. So pause it and then come back. Welcome back. Marissa started a new job that will pay her $7.75 per hour. She gets paid this much. Oh, hey, I should have shouted out to Marissa Sherd. This is your problem. Which representation does not represent? So that means 3 of these are going to be right and 1 is going to be wrong, and that one wrong one is the answer that we are going to choose. Okay, so does it make sense? P stands for pay, H stands for hour. Does it make sense to do $7.75 and multiply it by the hours she worked to find her pay? Absolutely. This is how we calculate how much we get paid. Okay, so then let's look at the graph. If she worked 1 hour, would $7.75 be in between 6 and 9? Absolutely. This says 1 hour is $7.75. Okay, this jumped to 2. So let's see. What is $7.75 times 2? So that's 10, 14, 15, and 15 again. So 2 hours is $15.50. So far that's correct. That's correct. Let's check this one. 2 hours, and that's straight at 15. So we can take, so far, we can take out B because it is straight on the 15. It's not a little above, okay? But let's say you think, oh, well, it might still kind of be that, okay? Let's check these again. All right, let's check 775. Times, let's do times 3. Let's see if D checks out. So that's 15, 22, that's 21, so 23, 2 behind the decimal. So it checks out. I'm pretty sure that whole chart is right. Okay, let's check this one. 7.75. Let's try times 4. So 20, that's 28, 29, 30. It's 28, 29, 30, 31 with 2 behind the decimal. So this one checks out. So I told you 3 would be right. 1, 2, 3 are right, and 1 would be wrong. So B definitely was wrong because it was right at 15, not above. Okay, try this one. Number 1. I'll give you a second. Pause the video, then come back and see if you got it right. Okay, welcome back. It says the graph shows the amount of money raised for scholarships over a 4-month period. Based on the graph, what is the constant rate earnings of the scholarship? Okay, so when it was 0 months, no money was earned. Well, that makes sense because you're not doing anything. But at 1 month, $2,000 was earned. Let me tell you how simple this is. There's your answer right there. If you can find for 1, unit rate means to find for 1. If you can find for 1, that tells you how much money per month. C, $2,000 per month.